different value for different people. So that if you like having $100 for you here in Canada and having $100 for a person in Morocco, for example, where things are a lot cheaper, has a different value. But beyond that, within even the Canadian context, like if you are the same amount of food to a pregnant woman or to a child, have a different value. So if we just say we want to give the same food to everybody, we would be doing an injustice. So these are like
it's more like a purchasing power, like party kind of like model, like where you're like not taking dollar value, but just like more meaning behind it.
Right, and so well, anyways, there are so different pieces of this, but this is my background.
Yeah.
So then I have my theories, I have my ideas, and so on. I have my approach to the specific field I work in with youth empowerment and so on. But when you ask me what do you think that is the direction that is being, I'm new to Canada.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to understand how the system in Canada works, but I've been able to be in this space where there is constant discussion on these topics, and a lot of speakers come here and talk to us about what is happening, and also for the class and so on.
Yeah.
I think that the direction that is going right now is that there is a legal imbalance. Legally, the system is not very clear, because charities it's very hard to be a charity in Canada right now because of legal restrictions. I think somebody was also talking to it in class of legal limitations to what it means to be a charity, and because there is no funding available, especially in development. So I know that this government, especially in Canada, our government has cut so much in terms of international development, and Canada used to be a pioneer in the field.
But now with all these restrictions, it's not able to.
But right now, there is not. It's harder to do work in development from Canada, and a lot of the new initiatives are being born under a system that is the social entrepreneur system, where you're trying to really build something that is intrinsically financially sustainable. Because the problem is finance. It's like it's not about there is a problem between doing good work and then being able to sustain you doing good work. And the two things are separate.
Yeah.
And it's not that because you are being financially sustainable, it means that you're doing good work, and it's because you're doing good work, you're being financially sustainable. So social entrepreneurship is trying to merge it, and I think that there are some value, but there are also a lot of risks to these models.
Because I think people think of it as just being so appealing because, like, oh, well, if they're financially stable, then we don't have to fund it, so it's good work being done without us having to dime it.
Exactly.
Versus if you have to adjust a program that should run in a non-profit environment just so that it is financially viable, then that's not a good thing necessarily, right?
Well, that, but also it's like when you are building something, you usually tend to have a priority and an outcome, and that influences the culture of your organization. That influences how you prioritize. So
if you becomes the outcome, then
if you are an organization, you need to you obviously are going to need to
think about funds.
Think about funds, but your mission is what's really driving you, and for you, your priority is to do the good work.
Yeah.
You are going to be thinking in a very different way than if you're thinking, okay, well, I am trying to have something that will make money, and the output is also that there is some good being done in the world. So, for example, I mean, think about Tom's shoes.
Yeah, I know Tom's for sure.
So the idea is, well, we are producing shoes, we're selling shoes, but there is also a social impact within that model. Now, like, to understand really how much good Tom is doing, I think you also need to understand what is their culture. What is that they prioritize? Do they see more? Do they put more emphasis on doing? Do they spend more money on doing marketing, or do they spend more money on doing good? Do they spend more money on making the shoe? Like there is a balance between how you invest resources within the organization, and so the social entrepreneur model is interesting. But I think that this social entrepreneur model is a symbol of a much bigger phenomenon that is happening, which is when you ask me about international development, which is that right now we do not think about international development in a lot more terms than economic development.
Okay.
For us, development means economic development, and obviously there is a value in that, but there is also a limit. And I think that there is a lot of organizations, and a lot of the work being done is really not able to see beyond what it means, to really understand what it means to do development work, and that economic development is really not the art of economic.
No, it's just like a piece of it.
Exactly, it's very much a piece. And so if you have a very sort of a city where there is a lot of money and there is whatever, there are jobs, but people have like their quality of life is bad, it's terrible, because they have to travel 2 hours by car to get to their job, like it happens in Mexico City. I was visiting Mexico City last month, and that's the quality of life is terrible.
So there's still an issue, you know what I mean? When people think like, oh, it's a developing place, blah blah blah. It's like got money, it's fine, but then that issue is being touched.
Well, I think that it's about also how development is looking like, because you can pump a lot of money into a place, that there is a lot of economic development in a way, but then the way it's done, the economic development is not only serving economic development, and so we are thinking about growth. We are thinking about more cars being put into the system, more of this, more of this, more of this, and we're not thinking what does that mean in terms of people's quality of life, in terms of people self-esteem, ability to grow as people, to have meaningful relationships in their life, and those are all pieces that really matter in people's life.
Sure.
And matter in a country.
Yeah.
So I think that the risk of this whole discourse that there is in Canada right now, which is so much focused on economic development, is focused on added value, always in the economic sense. That is, to me, it's scary that we lose track of the other aspects.
The other aspects, for sure. I mean, also you could definitely argue that if a certain region isn't, I guess, like even if they have the economic development put into it, if they're not like ready for it with the infrastructure to go and take everything else that all that money being pumped into it can, and it's not even sustainable in the end, right?
Yeah. Okay. And that is an aspect of it, but beyond that is about how are people very fundamentally relating to everything that is happening. How are their values changing because of it? I give you an example of what I mean.
Yeah.
So you have something more concrete.
Okay.
Last year I was working with a research institute in Thailand for 2 months.
Okay.
And I was doing an evaluation of a project that is called the Brain Exchange, where they have young people mostly from developed country come working in Thailand and do research or do projects that contribute to the development of Thailand.
Okay.
And this model was very interesting because, well, was the model to which I found my job in Thailand.
Oh, okay.
And there were a lot of big names behind, and I was wondering how it all came about, who invented it, who came about with this innovative idea. And starting doing research, I figured out that it was the outcome of a group of young people. They were studying abroad, and they were seeing the opportunity of people in the United States, for example, to do internships. They had to do internships, and they wanted to set up Thailand in a way so that it would be willing to make the most out of this internship that people had to do. So I started doing research, and this project is really cool. And then I realized that all the people that invented the project and they came about with this project had completely been swallowed by the growing up system. And in Thailand, there is a very strong sense that you get a good job, you work very hard, and that is it. That is it. And there is not necessarily as much civic engagement as there is, for example, in Canada, where people really see the added value in their life in doing volunteer work. So these young people who have had this initial instinct of creating this project, they launched this, but right now they have no energy, no interest, and no resources to make it better, to develop it.
Okay.
And so, to me, the most interesting